Hey guys, hope you are all having a great day. We finally made it to the end of the week. It felt like an entire month worth of trading. So many things have happened in a matter of just a few days that I honestly couldn't be happier now that we have a day off. We had some important developments come in directly from the SEC that we need to discuss, along with general market news as well. On top of that, some information came directly from SuperStonk showing further terminal stats revealing the extent of the manipulation that is taking place in the markets right now. The numbers are pretty crazy, so I am sure Bloomberg Terminal will be excusing this as yet another glitch, the 100th so far. Funny how all these glitches tend to happen solely with GameStop and AMC for the most part. It's almost as if there is something off with the reported data with these two favored stocks. Before we start, let me quickly state that I am not a financial advisor, and that all content discussed in this channel is simply information gathered that I deem important for people to know, so that they can make informed decisions. All efforts are aimed to better understand the nature of the current market in anticipation of the greatest squeeze in financial history. Let's dive right in. Let's begin with the easiest and most obvious of information. Bloomberg Terminal data was shared earlier today related to GameStop, and the numbers are very bullish. Institutional data based on current filings as of February 20th show that institutional ownership for GameStop has grown. You know how the media has been spreading FUD and telling everyone to sell GameStop because the stock is done for? Well, it appears that while they have been running all that propaganda, big money has been quietly buying GME shares, loading up on the stock they repeatedly tell us is going nowhere. I do not know how much more confirmation you need, but here you have proof to undeniable facts which show what institutions are doing. Look at what they do and stop listening to what they say. Big shout out to Green Candle Vandal for his contribution. But the real treat today came from another user who screenshotted something very peculiar in Bloomberg. Insider ownership of shares held for GameStop was noted as being 1.87%. Doing some basic math, that 1.87% would amount to a little over 1.4 million shares of GameStop. However, looking at key data, insider holdings for GME are around 13.68 million shares. Doing some basic math again, this disparity means that there are about 737 million shares of GameStop floating around, or in even smoother words, there is about 8.6 times the entire amount of shares outstanding. This is super mega bullish information that further proves that we are on the right side of the trade. Bloomberg will probably come and fix the numbers and call it a mistake again, citing some technical errors in their software, but we know what is up. The truth is undeniable at this point. The shorting institutions delaying MOASS never intended on delivering shares. They were planning on shorting GameStop out of the stock market and out of business. Now, they quite literally cannot stop printing shares because the moment they do, this thing explodes, they get exposed and they end up having to pay for thousands of Lambos to random strangers on the internet. We are not going anywhere. In the event you forgot about meme stocks, or that you lost inspiration and hope for the stocks amidst all that is happening with the rest of the world, here is your reminder that the grind goes on, that they haven't paid and that this only ends one way. Big shout out to Region Formal for screenshotting and posting this for the rest of us. Moving on to the SEC, big changes are coming. The Securities and Exchange Commission is proposing a new rule and related form pursuant to the Exchange Act designed to provide greater transparency through the publication of short sale related data to investors and other market participants. Under this rule, institutional investment managers, such as hedge funds, that meet or exceed a specified reporting threshold would be required to report, on a monthly basis using the proposed form, specified short position data and short activity data for equity securities. In addition to this, the SEC is proposing a new rule to prescribe a new buy to cover order marking requirement, and proposing to amend the National Market System Plan governing the consolidated audit trail. These new proposed changes will provide the public and market participants more visibility into the behavior of large short sellers. The raw data reported to the Commission will help them oversee the markets and understand the role short selling may play in market events. It is unbelievable that any of this wasn't already a rule, and that big money was allowed so much leverage and unsupervision in the markets. Alas, we are here now, and the much-needed changes and reforms are now beginning to take place. A lot of people are speculating and wondering if this means that shorters of GameStop and AMC will now be forced to disclose how they short and where they are borrowing. Though they will have to disclose much more information than they did before, I highly doubt they will be truthful about it. They could simply create new avenues by which to categorize their positions or the derivative contracts they engage in so as to slip right by the filters. Still, This is a move in the right direction, and with this data we will be able to better track how shorters are getting away with what they do. Do not let for one moment the joy of victory dissipate, because this alone will not stop them right on their tracks. These are big, powerful institutions that know the game very well and will continue to play it until they are forced to stop. The SEC, under the leadership of Gary Gensler, is bringing much-needed changes to the system by introducing policies and proposals that will add a lot of transparency to investors and market participants alike. Now on to the stock markets. Stocks rallied for the second day in a row after Russia announced that they will be holding talks with Ukraine. Investors quickly jumped back in and sent the major benchmarks moving up again. The Dow Jones surged 2.5%, S&P 500 rose 2.2% and the Nasdaq was up 1.6%. Markets have been trading on daily news, like we well talked about. Every day, any little or major news that happen will have a direct effect on us. Right now, what is really pushing the markets down is the uncertainty of the Fed and their rate hikes. Remember, uncertainty is the worst crusher for stocks. Bad news are just as fine as good news because they can be easily priced in and the markets will behave according to the data, eventually moving upwards. Uncertainty leaves investors undecided, and a great portion of them stay on the sidelines until things are clarified and certain, by which they then can price in their investments. Take advantage now. It's only a few weeks until we get the rate hikes and then we could potentially see a bounce up. If for some miracle Russia decides to back off of Ukraine, it will rally the markets, so be sure to get in on some investments if you can. On my Twitter account, I have been posting constant updates on important news regarding Ukraine and the ongoing situation. Feel free to join my Discord for more content regarding everything happening in this terrible conflict. Let's now talk about today. The Fed submitted over $1.603 trillion in reverse repo operations today. Dark pool trades for AMC accounted for 49% of the total volume today, while dark pool trades for GameStop accounted for 47% of the total volume today. AMC had a larger amount of buy orders than sell orders, with GameStop also having a larger amount of buy orders than sell orders. Now, let's talk about performance. AMC had a bearish performance, losing under 1% for the day. It began moving up in the pre-market, almost reaching $18 before some retracement back to the VWAP. Upon market opening, AMC fell down, dipping to 16.53 before bouncing back. It would eventually reach and test the VWAP, surpassing it. It stayed trading back and forth before moving up and finding stronger support at 17.40. It stayed trading above that price for a while before pulling back, falling below the VWAP and finding some support at 17. It then fell back a little low to 16.90 before bulls took over and pushed it up, breaking above the VWAP again and reaching 17.73 again. AMC ended up closing at 17.66, above the VWAP. As to what to expect next week, I will make a video talking about it on Sunday. GameStop had a bearish performance, losing over 4% for the day. After running up in the pre-market, GameStop began falling as soon as the markets opened. It could continue a slowly paced bearish path for pretty much the remainder of the day, bouncing off of the VWAP line every couple of minutes. It was a very odd performance to say the least. Around the near of closing, GameStop began to make some progress, as bullish news in the market helped bring the stock back up. Bulls began buying, pushing the stock above 120 and passing the VWAP. Shorters would not let us have this victory, and instead took GME down a notch and had us close at 118.58, below the VWAP. As for what to expect next week, I will make a video on Sunday talking about it. This week was incredibly hard and difficult, and so many lives were claimed with the ongoing crisis in Ukraine. My eyes have been glued to all the updates and news taking place over there. My thoughts are with the millions being affected by all that is happening in Europe. If you need any sort of help, feel free to hit me up on Discord and don't hesitate to ask. I wish you all a great weekend. Take some time off, spend time with friends and family, have some fun and touch some grass. Come back next week strong and refreshed. It was a brutal week for the stock market and everyone has been on edge for far too long. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. That is all I have for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And most importantly, remember to come join my Discord. If you want to support this channel, I have a Patreon link in the description as well as some one-time donation links for Cash App and PayPal. Thank you again for being a part of this channel. I will continue striving for better content. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keep on buying the dip and to the moon.